who you are right now is a collection of your own beliefs. And so before, when I was living in depression, anxiety, ADHD, working a 9-to-5 job, I was unfulfilled, doing all these things I didn't want to do, I believed that I had to do those things, and that was really the only option, and I couldn't really escape from that. That's what I believed. But when I changed my beliefs, I got different results. Able to free myself from all those conditions, free myself from the 9-to-5 job. And so wherever you're at right now is a collection of what you believe. And so if you consistently see things in your life that you don't like, then it's a belief that you're holding. And so I'll tell this example that I had with a client a little bit ago. He's like, Austin, I'm struggling with my family, my friends, because I'm starting my business, but when I put myself out there, they don't believe in me. They ask me, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This isn't the correct thing to be doing. And so he told me that he feels triggered by this. And I'm like, the reason why you feel triggered by this is because you personally don't believe in yourself. Because our beliefs show us what's true. And what I mean by that is so when his family members and his friends tell him that I don't believe in you, and he buys into it, it's because he believes it. And so you can only get triggered by something if you believe it yourself. And so I told him, the reason why this happens is because you have this belief that you don't believe in yourself. So when they tell you that they don't believe in you, it triggers your own belief that you don't believe in yourself. Because you're looking externally for somebody else to tell you that they believe in you. And when somebody tells you that they don't believe in you, it triggers your own negative belief. And so whenever we filter our awareness through a negative belief system, we're going to feel negative emotions. That's the key of all this. And so you can go around analyzing all different aspects of your life where you feel negative emotions. Because if you feel negative emotions, there's negative belief there. And so that's the thing with this work is we have to be aware of what's true and what's not. And so a good indicator is negative emotions. And you can always ask yourself, why do I feel negative about the situation? What do I have to believe about the situation that causes me to feel a negative emotion? And so back to the main point, our beliefs create who we are. And so if he ends up following that belief without rectifying it, without releasing it, without overcoming it, he's going to end up quitting, creating a new business, a new venture. Because he's not going to believe in himself. And so the path in which he walks is determined by what he believes. Because if he believes that he can do it, then he's going to create that path to make it happen. But if he doesn't believe it, he's not. And so we have to take a look and see what we truly believe. Because that guides us on whatever path we take. And it creates our own reality. Everything that we have, everything that we experience is from a belief. And so if you consistently see yourself in the same situation where oh, I feel depressed, or oh, I'm dealing with this problem or this condition. And you consistently see it. And especially if you've been dealing with it for more than 3 months. Because if you've been dealing with something for more than 3 months, that's a key sign that what you're doing isn't going to get you where you want to go. Because what you do is what you believe. You're only going to do something if you believe it benefits you. If you don't believe it benefits you, then you're not going to do it. Because why would you? So we do things that we perceive that benefit us. So what we perceive, hello there. So what we perceive isn't always conscious. Because a lot of us, we have unconscious beliefs. And this is what I believe is quote unquote self-sabotage. Is we have these beliefs that are unconscious that cause us to take paths and actions that don't align with where we want to go. And so we have to be able to unify our beliefs and what we do. And we have to identify any beliefs that aren't ours. And so a lot of these people struggle is because the beliefs that they have aren't even theirs. And so that's a big thing. Is what do you believe about yourself? And what do you believe is possible for you? And that's a good place to start. So if you're in a part of your life where you're struggling right now, I want you to list all the different things that you believe about yourself. I want you to list in one column the positive things about your life and yourself. And then on the other column, I want you to list the negative beliefs. And a positive belief is, I'm good at writing, or I'm good at public speaking, or I'm good at creating artwork. And so on the negative category, you can believe whatever you believe that is negative. So for example, it's, oh, I'm not very good at running, or I'm not very good at drawing, or I'm not very good at painting, whatever it might be. And so our beliefs are formed by past experiences. Our own past experiences shape our beliefs. Because these beliefs are formed, they're like a table. So they need at least 3 legs to stand. So there's 3 instances at least in your past where something has happened that caused you to form that belief. And so I'll speak about this one as an example, because this is one I used to believe about myself, is I used to believe that I wasn't good enough. And so those beliefs are formed all throughout my life. And so if my teacher tells me when I'm at age 8, oh, that you're not good at this, or my friends say that, oh, you're not good at that, my parents say, oh, you can't do this. And so it starts to form that belief. And so the more and more that we start to observe these things happening around us, the more it cements those beliefs. So the more and more that we see in our own external reality in our life, and the other people that affirm it externally, that, oh, I'm not good enough, the deeper it becomes a belief, the more cemented it becomes. And the more cemented a belief it becomes, the more rigid it becomes. And then it just starts to become a part of who we are, of our own identity. And a lot of people get trapped in that because it's like, oh, I'm just not good at singing. That's a very common one I see. And it's just like, I've always sucked at singing, I've always been bad. And that was something I used to believe about myself as well. I used to be terrible. I would sing and just people would just be like, please stop, Austin, that's awful. But now I can sing. And so this is something that had to be learned. And so, but if I ultimately just follow that belief without questioning it, how's it going? Then that's going to dictate my life. Then I'm not going to attempt to sing because, oh, I believe that I'm not good at it. And when I was at age 6, somebody told me that you're awful at singing, and it scarred me for the rest of my life. Then I'm not going to sing. But if I'm able to disregard and let go of something, I can step into something new. And so the same goes with anything in life. Whatever you hold to be true, you can disregard it. It takes work. So it just depends if it's a belief that's empowering or disempowering, because we have both of them. And so you have to realize what suits you best. Where are you trying to go in life? And what beliefs do I need to change in order to get there? And so if I'm trying, like my client that I was telling you about, to build a business, but you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to expect other people to believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself? Especially if you're constructing something new and you're wanting people to use it if it's a service or buy it if it's a product. Because if you don't believe in yourself, other people are going to see that. And they're not really going to want anything to do with it. And so he has to be able to deconstruct this belief and then form a new belief. And so the key way in which we form new beliefs is we have to take action. And so this is another example that I absolutely love. Is, I was always extremely afraid of heights. Extremely. I would get extreme vertigo. And I remember one time I was in Malaysia, and it's called Langkawi Bridge. And it's this glass bridge, and it's probably 6 or 7 feet wide. But it connects these two mountain peaks. And it drops probably 500, 600 feet. And I remember I walked on this bridge, and I literally just felt a sense of vertigo. And I literally barely could even cross this bridge. I was like stumbling, and I was walking in the middle, and at one point I was even on my my knees, just kind of crawling. And it was just this terrible experience. And so for me, going through that experience, it was crazy. And, I ultimately ended up crossing the bridge. The bridge was like 200 feet or something like that. But it was incredibly challenging. But the next thing that I found is when I was in a position where I was at heights and I was, up in a mountain by a ledge, I didn't feel as scared anymore. And so when we go up above our capabilities, then the next time we do something a little bit more challenging, it doesn't seem that bad. And it doesn't seem as difficult. It doesn't seem as threatening. Because it's like my body realized I could go through that experience and I'm still living and I'm okay. Because our nervous system, our subconscious mind, our reticular activating system is just trying to protect us because there's perceived danger around it. And so this doesn't mean I'm no longer afraid of heights. It just means that it doesn't, crucify me to the same degree. There's aspects where I'm still, afraid of heights. And, like 3-4 months ago, I almost fell off a mountain. I have a video of that back in March, I believe. And it's labeled panic attack or something of that nature. And so, the thing of it is whenever we take that action that conflicts that belief that, oh, I'm afraid of heights, it makes it easier. And so another example is public speaking as well. Is because if you're afraid of public speaking and then you do some public speaking and say you do it in front of 10 people, 10 people doesn't seem that big of an issue anymore. And so then you can move up to 20 people and it doesn't seem that life-threatening anymore. And so those are the things that we have to do in order to write a new belief, and it's through action. And so we have to teach our nervous system that it's safe. And so there's also a component of breath work, meditation, all that, but the primary vehicle in which to transcend an old belief is action. And so if my client continues to go down the road, continues to believe in himself, continues to accomplish things, he's going to believe in himself even more, the more that he accomplishes things. Because he's going to be like, look, I accomplished this, and this. And then when somebody, starts to tell him, I don't believe in you, he looks on his own accomplishments and realize, I don't really believe that anymore, because look at all this I've accomplished. Look at how far I've came. And so the key to all this is whatever you believe about yourself will show up in your life. And so in order to get somewhere new, in order to have something new, in order to experience something new, you have to believe something different. And so you just have to believe something different and then follow it up with action. Because you might believe something to be true, but you do something that isn't consistent with those beliefs. And so that's a whole nother issue. Unaligned beliefs. So if there's one thing to get out of this video is to list out what you believe about yourself, positive on one column on a sheet of paper, and then what you believe about yourself that's negative on one column. And then I want you to think about, why do I believe these things? And so what is this causing me to live and experience right now? Because I believe these things about myself. And so if you can systematically go through all those negative beliefs, and even some of the positive beliefs that you deem as positive, because they might not be positive. They might just be a learned belief that isn't even true. And so I really want you to go through that, and that's really going to be super beneficial for you. It's going to change your life. Because if you believe something different, you're going to get somewhere different. So peace to everyone. Hope you have a beautiful day, and hope a miracle finds you today.